Start. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geopolitics in Conflict show. So excited to be with you today. But also, I'm very excited about my guest. Wait until you hear what he has to say. Let me first introduce you to my guest here. All right. Gerald Celente. I am sure you guys heard about him. You know, he's the founder and director of the Trans Research Institute and the publisher of the weekly Trans Journal magazine, which, by the way, we are here at the Geopolitics in Conflict team. We are subscribers to this journal. He's described as the warrior for the Prince of Peace. Gerald Celente is also the founder of Occupy Peace and Freedom, a not-for-profit movement to honor the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and restoring freedom. With almost 43 years of a record of identifying, tracking, and forecasting trends, Celente is world-renowned as today's #1 trend forecasters. I've been reading his stuff, right, spun on all his analysis, and they were right on. And I'll give you guys just a quick examples here. For example, he was right on when it comes up to 1987 stock market crash. Yeah, Celente talked about that one. He was also right on about the dot-com bust. He was also right about the panic of 2008 and more. So this is what I'm going to be having conversation with today. So let's start on it. Gerald, welcome to Geopolitics in Conflict.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it very much.
We're really so excited because you have so much wealth of information. I'm not going to waste much time. I'm going to dive into what we need to cover here. Well, I like to get your feedback, your insights, your analysis about how, for example, our current administration, the Biden administration now, is sending more money, more weapons to Taiwan only to foment tensions in that part of the world. Are we looking at a next conflict front in Asia?
Absolutely. And again, why are they doing it? They haven't stopped doing it. Once upon a time, when I was a little boy, there was somebody by the name of Dwight D. Eisenhower, 5-star general, supreme commander of the Allied forces in World War II. His farewell address and others, he warns the American people. Remember, this is a 5-star general. World War II, not like these little boys they got now with their bad attitudes that haven't won a war in 50 years. This is General Dwight D. Eisenhower, 2-term president. He warns the American people that the military-industrial complex is robbing the nation of the genius of the scientists, the sweat of the laborers, and the future of the children. Here we are. Why are they sending money to Taiwan? Oh, you mean one of the richest countries in the world? And they're taking my money as a taxpayer to give them weapons? You know, on the back of all of America's printed currencies, they have "In God We Trust." What God you talking about? What God do you talk? Not in God you trust, in Satan you trust. Because all you people do, all my life, and I'm 76 years old, one war after another. When I was a little kid, they used to have us hiding under a desk. Sirens that go off in the school, and we have to hide under the desk and put your hands on top because those Soviet Union commies are going to send an atomic bomb and we better be ready.
Yeah.
Oh, you're under a desk and that's going to help you? Every time when I was a kid and I'd see an airplane as a little kid, I'd be afraid. I thought they were going to drop a bomb. They haven't stopped with this war crap. Oh, by the way, these are the same imbeciles, the little morons with a bad attitude and no guts. Whether it's that war or the COVID war, you stand 1 meter apart Because the wind blows directly in straight lines and stops at a meter. Doesn't go up, doesn't go around, doesn't go longer. And when you're in an airplane, you put on that mask or we'll have you arrested. But when you eat and drink, you can take it off because COVID knows when you're eating and drinking and it doesn't bother you, even though you're sitting around all those people. These are little goddamn morons that had people masked up outside when your chances of getting it are less than 1 in 10,000. On and on and on and on and on. You're asking me about weapons going to Taiwan? Is it going to escalate war? You got demonic, psychopathic, pathological liars in charge in a country near you.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's where my big concern, Gerald. As a citizen, as a taxpayers, I am like wondering now, and I've been watching how things are moving since the early 90s. We're going down, and now when you look at the streets in San Francisco, in LA, in some other parts,
all over,
and you say to yourself, why aren't we investing our money right here at home? What's wrong with our leaders?
What's wrong with the leaders? All right, who was the guy that froze? Got more chins than Chinatown. Oh, Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell, yeah.
Yeah. How about Biden? Can't walk, can't talk. Look at how about Dianne Not So Feinstein, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Leaders, how can you be so stupid to have these clowns lead you? And again, take a trip around the world. That little Catson Macron, and the little arrogant boy of nothing.
Yeah.
Of nothing. Hey, I'm a Rothschild's cat. Get it? Get it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, the guy clown over there off in Germany. One jerk after another. Oh, how about that Sunak? Oh, yeah, he's a sharp cat in the UK. How about the FUCK? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at the jerks. It's everywhere. And that's the danger going on around the world. We have these psychopathic people that are only interested in power and money. And they're in charge. They could give a damn about the people. They never care. What's your favorite war? I like the Peloponnesian War. Oh, the 100-Year War was really brilliant. No, the War of Roses was just spectacular. Hey, what's your favorite crusade? Look at all the wars. First World War, second. It just keeps going on and on. Unless the people stand up and do something, it's finished. We are on the brink of annihilation.
Yeah, I kind of like very surprised as to how some of us Americans are like oblivious to even what's going on. They have no idea that the amount of money that's been sent for this wars and conflict. We're just talking about the recent one, the ongoing one in Ukraine. I just read yesterday, Gerald, some analysis that was a white paper internally from the Pentagon that it says that we have spent up to $200 billion when it comes down to Ukraine. Where's that money?
The roads are rotting. The roads, the bridges, the subway system. It's a night in Calcutta. And look at the railroad system. Hey, all you people in East Palestine, aren't you happy? Yeah. What other places are the trains derailing and poisoning everywhere? Look it up in Canada. They can't put out a damn fire. That arrogant little daddy's boy, Trudeau. Oh, him and his wife broke up. Why? Because she couldn't swallow his crap anymore? I mean, look at, they can't put out a fire. You can't put out a fire. Oh, yeah, but we're going to save the world and we're going to kill anybody, anywhere. And put on your uniform, put on that drag and shoot and kill.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a kind of like, you start to question, what happened to, you've been around long enough, Gerald, to remember about how the United States used to be back in the 60s, maybe, around that time, at least it was something for the community. That's what was America, even before that. And now you start to see the opposite, on the opposite end of the spectrum. The Washington establishments, all the focus is on monetary gain, political career, and legacy, and damn with the people.
Not legacy. What legacy? Who gives a damn when you're dead?
Yeah,
what
you're
legacy?
right.
Only clowns talk about legacy like these politicians do, but you're right. That's what they care about. And everything you said is 100% right. Look, I was the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate at 26 years old. I was on the other side. I used to run major political campaigns, well, not run them, but a big part of them, in Westchester County at a graduate school in early 1970s, the richest county in America. I picked up Ronald Reagan at the Chicago Hilton, 30 years old, 2 days before he's announcing he's running against Gerald Ford in the primaries in 1976, and put on a brunch with 16 of our board of directors, the corporation I used to work for. I've been with presidents, prime ministers, and princes. I know what the deal is. It's a freak show. The people in politics, the politicians, they haven't gotten out of high school. They're still your class president and head of the student council. They're arrogant little boys and girls. It's a freak show, and people don't fight. And unless they stand up and fight for peace, peacefully, it's going to be hell on earth.
Well, you know one thing, Gerald, that I'm really perplexed about. As one who worked inside Washington for some time, and I kind of left, and what I'm wondering about, why those who break the law, those policymakers, are not brought to justice, including the president himself?
How about whose coke was it in the White House? Oh, we don't know. We're going to start.
Oh, yeah.
If it was my house and they found coke in here, they'd find out who brought it in. But not. So it's a crime syndicate. You're asking for justice. It doesn't exist. It's just us. That's all they're concerned about. George Carlin, the great George Carlin, used to say, "It's one big club and you ain't in it." Look at the Goldman, J.P. Morgan Chase, convicted of 5 felonies. 5. The last one was they paid $900 million for rigging the precious metals market. Chump change. Does Jamie Dimon go to jail? It's a slap on the wrist for the elite and prosecution to the fullest for we the people, the plantation workers of Slavelandia. You talked about what this country used to be. When I was a young guy, there were hardware stores, stationery stores, drug stores, grocery stores. Now they're all chains, grocery chains, drug chains, hardware chains, stationery chains. And the people work in these places, every time I go into one of them and I try to stay out of them, my heart breaks. They see the people working there have no life and no career. But hey, what were their profits? Yeah, did they do better than expected on Wall Street? And the hedge funds, private equity groups, venture capitalists did not exist when I was a young man. And they own most of it. How do you like that BlackRock? Yeah. One after another.
Wow. It's almost like it's not almost, it is. Those are the ones now dictating what American foreign policy ought to be.
And none of the billionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires give us a penny for peace. Not a penny.
No.
Not a penny, not 1 red cent. And by the way, I'll be speaking at the Humanity for Peace rally outside the UN on Sunday, August 6th. It starts at 1 p.m. Scott Ritter will be there and others. So, but the billionaires, millionaires, hey, what do you got, lockjaw? You don't like peace? Hey, where are all you Seventh-day Adventists waiting for the 8th day to go protest for peace? Oh, all you Quakers died in an earthquake? Don't hear you talking about peace. Oh, and all you Catholics and all you Jews and all you, where are all you Muslims? Where are you Mormons?
Yeah.
How come you're not out there protesting for peace? What do you got, lockjaw?
You're right. There. Let me move to one topic here also that I would like to get your take on, and this one has to do with the recent USS Canberra that's been commissioned in Australia. The way I look at it, Gerald, and correct me if I'm wrong, the way I look at it is basically the head of that country, the prime minister, the incompetent elbow, just turned over the sovereignty of Australia to the US command. Am I wrong in that assessment?
Well, yes and no. You know, the United States controls a lot of the world, and the hegemony still exists. And these guys, that little Albanese, he's nothing little but a little boy, a jerk of nothing. But who the one before him? Out of his mind, another little jerk. It's one jerk off in the country, all, as I was saying, all over the world. But you see, there's no way the United States is going to go to war against China. The United States hasn't won a war since World War II.
You're right.
And if China has more naval ships than America does. And China's not going to take it anymore. You know, I'll never forget, China was nothing until Bill Clinton brought them into the World Trade Organization.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you look at their GDP from like the 1970s, so they officially came in 2 weeks after 9/11 in September 2001, and their GDP shot up. They're not going to. It's a whole different country. The United States made China what it was. They gave them all the heavy industry and high-tech technology that they needed to get cheap labor so the Americans could make more money and the Europeans to get their stuff made by cheap labor over there so they could make more money. But now China got what it wants. So there's no way America's going to get in a war with China. No way. And if it does, it's the end of life on Earth. By the way, anyone interested in knowing the truth of the past and the future, I suggest you listen to John F. Kennedy's speech to the graduating students at American University in June of 1963. It's all about peace. And he says we should not hate the Soviet Union, they called it in those days.
At that time,
he said more of them died in World War II. They suffered more than anyone. He said over 20 million died. Mm-hmm. The numbers that I hear about 26 to 27 million. Kennedy says the land, farms, factories, houses was destroyed, the equivalent of Chicago East. And he said, like, these are fine people. He said, scientifically, culturally, he said, you know, we shouldn't go to war with them. Because if we go to nuclear war, these are his words, against the Soviet Union, this is 1963, life on Earth will be destroyed. Mm-hmm. That's 63.
Wow.
Now, you got 60 years later, the advanced weaponry, it'll be wiped out. Then he goes on to say at the end of his talk, the United States of America will never go to war again. 5 months later, Jack, you're dead. 8 months after that, we're in the Vietnam War.
Wow. That was like sort of getting back at him for that speech. That's what the military-industrial complex was.
Exactly. And will they kill me and others? No,
yeah.
Who knows? Yeah. But it's a crime syndicate in charge. They're murderers and thieves. Hey, I'm Goldman Sachs. Yeah. I'm Citigroup. I'm Wells Fargo. I'm too big to fail. You're just a piece of scum. You could lose your house and lose your life. We could care less about you. They're thieves and they're murderers. What's your favorite war? The Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner Obama's wars?
Yeah.
I want that guy Assad out of there. I want that guy Gaddafi out of there. Hey, how about that troop surge in Afghanistan who sold himself as a peace president? They went one after another. Bush, how come they're not bringing him up on charges for lying us into the Iraq war? They're murderers and thieves. So anybody that expects the Bloods and the Crips to go straight, man, you either been drinking too much or you're drugged out.
You're right. Yeah. And this is exactly what we're seeing right now with Ukraine, because it defies logic for how we, the collective West, of course, headed by the US, promised to never expand eastward to Russia's doorstep after the fall of the Soviet Union. And yet we went back on our word. We didn't hold our end of the bargain for that.
You know, why should it look, you go to America's track record of holding its end to the bargain.
Yeah.
How about, I'm going to get the Trends Journal here. Because we wrote about this as it happened, the overthrow of, where it is. the overthrow of Viktor Yanukovych
Yeah.
and by the Americans, Victoria Nuland, who they just escalated. And I'm sorry, what were you saying? I lost track of
I was
that.
just saying, Gerald, the idea of how we won back
Oh,
on
yeah.
our word that, we promised. I mean, the former Secretary of State, James Baker, stated that we will not expand eastward 1 inch.
That's right.
And yet we went back on our
There
word.
was 16. There were 16 NATO countries back then. Now there are 31.
Right.
Almost double.
Right.
And again, if Russia was up in Canada with missiles aimed at us, and China was down in Mexico with missiles aimed at us, oh, America would love that. And when America could go and the NATO could go all through the Black Sea near Russia, but could you imagine if the Chinese and the Russians were down in the Gulf of Mexico, off the coast of New York and off the coast of California, doing maneuvers? No, we wrote about it in detail, how the United States, here it is, how the United States overthrew the democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych. Washington is driving the world to the final war. World hegemony is not a fight America has earned. And that's by Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, former Assistant Treasury Secretary under Ronald Reagan. And there's a picture of Obama, the Nobel Peace Prize winner. And here's the cover of your Trends Journal. This is 2014. The people have no idea of the facts about the overthrow. They never heard of a Minsk agreement. They couldn't find Ukraine on the map.
Yeah.
But people march off to war. They march off to the COVID war. They believe a guy like little Georgie Bush, we're going to get Osama bin Laden dead or alive. America's longest war in Afghanistan. It's been going on for centuries. People always follow.
Yeah. By the way, guys, I will post all the links to the trans journals that Gerald usually published on a weekly basis. And I will highly recommend you guys subscribe to it. So I'll provide you all the links in the description later on. So it's a very,
by the way,
insightful. Go ahead, Gerald.
It's only $2.86 a week. A week.
It's worth it. We learn a lot from it, Gerald.
We're giving the people what they're not getting anywhere else in the world. Trends analysis and trend forecasts of the geopolitical, economic, socioeconomic, AI, technocracy, high-tech science, on and on and on and on. So we're giving them we're giving them everything we can to give them the best we can to prepare for these times ahead.
Well, indeed, Gerald. Because here's the idea: for us Americans are just so lost, given how the media is controlling the narrative. I know I won't get you hyped up on that, Gerald, but it's the truth. Most of us Americans are clueless. They're clueless.
But again, they've been clueless when I was a kid. My father, may rest in peace, I just started learning stuff and I get excited. He says, son, calm down. People have little minds.
Wow.
It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men, said Samuel Adams, one of the founding fathers. It's up to the irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. People don't know what's going on. You look at the media, and all it is stupid crap of they found this guy that killed somebody 10, 15, 20 years ago, and it's going on for how many weeks? How's Johnny Depp and Amber Heard doing? I mean, I could care. This is the people it's up to the people that know to make the change. And they have to put their money and where their heart and mind is and take action as well, or else we're dead.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Gerald, where do you see America's headed?
It's down. Again, look at the style. Look at what are we? 42% of the country is obese. Look at the way the people dress. It's Slobsville. And even in Europe, it's going down everywhere. When people had style and grace in this country, we were number one in so many ways. Everybody around the world wanted to come to America. No more. I have a photograph of my parents, may they rest in peace, of their 1934 wedding. You should see the way they're dressed up, the elegance. My father worked at a fish store. My mother, was a secretary. You know, my aunts and uncles, they worked in factories and construction workers. The dignity and style of these people, the Gates, the Buffetts, the Bezos, couldn't come close. Couldn't come close to the style of what America used to be. It's gone from the music of America. America's greatest export was this music from ragtime to swing to jazz to R&B to rock and roll to Motown. Now it's one bad, stupid rap.
Wow. Yesterday, I had a chance to listen to a conversation or an interview, that is. It was with the former, he was a military colonel. It was a former of the Undersecretary of State. And he's predicting that NATO will disband. Do you think he's spot on that assessment?
No, it's up to not with the politicians in place now. If they have elections and bring in new people and get rid of the establishment parties, that's the only way. And America has no business being in NATO. We wrote about this going back to 2014. No need for NATO. It's none of our business. You know, once upon a time, there was a cat by the name of George Washington, a real man that fought, not like these little boys that couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag, like the Obamas and the Bushes and the Clintons. No, this is a real man. His farewell address, becomes president of the United States. Do not become involved in any of the foreign entanglements, particularly in Europe, because basically this crap's been going on for thousands of years. Thousands of years. We're not going to solve it. It's up to them. Stay out of it. See, going back to NATO, as an American, it's a disgrace to me. A disgrace. I'm a patriot, and I believe in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and what this country was founded on. Not what these little boys destroyed. So going back to, they're going to disband NATO? No, unless you have more guys like Orban in Hungary, you know. But how many do you have like him? You know, one.
Yeah. Speaking of Orban, by the way, we just now blocked some transaction. Some senator blocked it because their parliament didn't vote yet, didn't ratify the vote regarding the admission of Sweden. So who are we to dictate to a country how to conduct its internal affairs?
I know. Look,
I found it troubling, Gerald. I really found it troubling that we are dictating.
It's been going on forever. Look what's going on in Niger with the coup that just happened.
Yeah.
And the French are saying, we will not allow this to happen. What are you talking about? Oh, you mean the French has been colonizing? Isn't colonizing a nice word? Oh, how about occupied settlements? I think that's even sweeter. Yeah, how about thieves and murderers that go into a foreign country and steal everything they can and kill anybody that they want? And the reason France is concerned about Niger is because France is the most nuclear-powered country in the world, and they need their uranium. And they're saying, you see, you're talking about the United States and NATO? What the hell is France talking about what's going on down there in Mali and Guinea and Niger? Why don't you mind your own damn business? Oh, former colonists, former murderers and thieves. Stop this colonist word. I'm not in kindergarten.
Yeah. And yet they're still getting money. I found out that France still getting about $500 billion in colonization tax. They're still getting it. Yeah. So in addition to declaring itself, which was a week and a half ago, if I'm not mistaken, declaring itself as the fourth country in the world with gold reserves of 2,064 tons of gold. Well, France doesn't have any gold mine to begin with.
Nope.
How did they get the gold?
Again, it's a crime syndicate. That's what I'm saying to you. It's country after country.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, America, but you could go take a trip. Like, again, that little cat son, a little nothing of a boy, Macron. But look at the shitheads before him. Oh, you like Hollande? No, I like Sarkozy. Oh, the Sarkozy murderer that started the Libyan war? Yeah, that one?
Yeah, let alone the bribe cases he was involved in.
Yeah, forget about that. Don't talk about that.
Oh, yeah. So Is this means now that with the changes that you are noticing, Gerald, on the global stage, will it be fair to say that we are officially in a multipolar system?
What's the
Gone. Gone the era of unipolar where the earth used to be the sole property of a sole superpower.
I'm sorry, I missed your question. Or do we do
Uh,
what?
I said that, Gerald, would it be fair to say, in your assessment or in your opinion, that we are now in a multipolar system? Gone the era of a unipolar where the earth used to be the only sole property of a sole superpower, which was the United States.
Oh, is America? You mean is America the sole superpower?
Yeah, not anymore.
No, it's
So,
gone. And
so
it's
the
gone again. It's not the hegemony that Paul Craig
yeah,
Roberts wrote about in the military end. It's also on the economic end. Most of the world has had enough of America's hegemony.
mm,
America became the country that our founding fathers fought against, the UK, Great
mhm,
Britain. The
mhm.
sun never sets on the British Empire. We'll go into any country we want, steal what we want, and kill whoever we want. But we have to say it properly, and people, you just do what we tell you to do. And what happened? All these wars, then World War One. What happens after World War One? Bye-bye, UK.
Okay.
That's right. The pound went down, dollar went up. Because all the wars they fought, they went down. America's become that country. Rather than spending hundreds of trillions of dollars on the military industrial complex throughout my lifetime, can you imagine if that money went into productivity, into building infrastructure, and building the soul and spirit of the people? What kind of country it'd have? So America became the UK. And so they wasted their money on the military industrial complex. The only reason the dollar is strong right now is because interest rates are high. And when did the dollar become strong? After World War II, it became the primary currency, the Bretton Woods Agreement and all the other stuff behind it.
Mhm.
But then in 1971, they took us off the gold standard. And now you're seeing, America's credit rating just dropped. Don't talk about that. Doesn't mean anything.
Wow.
The $32 trillion in debt. And interest rates went up, and now you got to pay more on your debt. No, the world doesn't want American hegemony. When the dollar goes down, gold prices are going to go up, and we're going to just start seeing more and more countries back their currency by gold. And we also see a new currency coming out under the BRIC nations, a different trading system.
Wow. Then what will happen to the dollar moving forward down the road?
It'll go down. Inflation will go up. It'll become, again, it's like the UK. We're going in the same direction as them. We became the country that we hated. And before, when I was talking about, you mentioned, I forgot to mention about the United States violating the agreement that was made between Bush Sr. and the quote by James Baker that NATO would not move 1 inch further. The United States has a great history of violating its agreements. The United States violated every agreement it made with the indigenous people that they slaughtered when they first came here. Every agreement made with the Cherokees, one after another, America violated. Facts are there. So why wouldn't they violate this one?
With other countries. So wow. So I'm a very concerned personally as an analyst. I am a very concerned as to what I see lying ahead regarding this the increased tensions. So sort of, Gerald, we are fomenting tensions intentionally, but at some point somebody's going to push back.
Again,
That's going to push back hard.
it's not only we just talked about Niger. How about taking a trip to Israel? Isn't it lovely what's going on over there? It's only the 31st week of protests. And according to people there, they say they're in a civil war. So as one of my sayings is, when all else fails, they take you to war. And going back to worrying about what's going on, it's not only here, We just talk again about Niger, what's going on in the Middle East,
Mm-hmm.
and what's going on in Europe and what's going on in America. They get what followed the Great Depression? Oh, World War II. What followed the dot-com bust? Oh, the war on terror. People's minds get off it like that.
Wow.
And so when they take you to war, people have learned to hate the Russians. So all we have to say, go back to February
Mm-hmm.
of 2022. Read all of the mainstream media. Putin is gone insane. He's going to die soon. He's going to be overthrown. One after another. He's out of his mind. So the people already, we've been taught to hate the Russians all our lives. I told you they had us hiding under a desk as a kid. And then by the way, when we went to high school, you couldn't get under the desk. You were too big. They used to put us out in the hall. We had to stand against the wall like that. And then they used to say things like, and if you see a flash, don't look at it. If I see a flash, I'll be toast in like 6 seconds.
Too late. Yep.
That's the stupidity. Again, it's global. The global stupidity.
Wow. Since you have a background in understanding the Constitution, I'd like to get your take on something domestic here that some of us Americans been wondering about. And this one, Gerald, has to do with the idea of how come we have only two political parties that controls the political process in the United States?
Because
were the founding fathers meant for it to be that way?
No, of course. Again, Jefferson said to overthrow the system and keep creating a new one when it gets, like this.
Yeah.
Again, it's a crime syndicate. They're power-hungry freaks. I quit when I worked in the Senate. It was the worst job I ever had in my life. And I've been working since a little kid, a paper boy, I worked as a soda jerk. And that was a great job. Soda jerk after school, and even high school, all the kids used to go to the soda fountains. And I met a beautiful first girlfriend there. But anyway, I've been working all my life, pumping gas. That was the worst job I ever had in my life. We'd be back at the chamber, young guys, and they have a clown opening up the door. Mm-hmm. Senator Frank Smith, Senator Tom McNeil. I say to guys, what's this crap, this slob opening the door? These guys can't open the door by themselves? Gerald, what are you talking about? I said, what are we paying a guy to open the door? They do that so you look up to them. And then my buddies would leave me and they'd follow the senator to his seat and pull out the chair and help him sit down. You could blow on these chairs, big, beautiful. They come back. I say, hey, what's the matter, man? Cat can't sit down by himself. He needs some help. Gerald, you have that kind of an attitude. You're not going to make it here. I said, this trip ain't for me. My mother, may she rest in peace, she used to say to me when the situation broke out, and I was a little kid, I didn't even know what it meant. She'd say, I hate cowards. I hate cowards. And that's all they are. They're cowards.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't the way I grew up. So I quit. That's who we have in charge. And they get paid off cheaply by a thing called campaign contributions. They're bribes and payoffs, and you can pay them off cheap because they never work a day in their life. So the crime syndicate's in charge, and the bigs are in control of it. Look at the election going on. Two-party system. Look at the money you got to have. All right. Not too long ago, in November of 2022, there was a midterm election. And little jerks, like a little nothing of a clown boy down in Texas, Beto O'Rourke, spent $100 million to lose. Oh, another clown over there in Georgia, another arrogant one, that Abrams lady. $100 million to lose the governor's race. $100 million. Where the hell did you get $100 million from? Hey, how about giving $100 million? Each one of you, $200 million, that would make to occupy peace, and we can have a real peace movement. Screw you.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. I'm a slime ball. I want power. If I had 500 million, I'd spend it to lose. You got it? These are the people running the show. A freak show.
Yeah. So I guess we're not going to see any change to the system.
No, unless RFK Jr. comes in. That to me is the only possibility.
Will they let him?
It's not they. Of course, they'll kill him if they. He said his CIA killed his father, his CIA killed his uncle, and they won't give him. They won't give him Secret Service support. So they want him out. They'll do anything they can. And I had a campaign rally. I had a peace rally up here in Kingston, New York, on March 27th of this year, and I had his campaign manager, Dennis Kucinich, as one of the speakers. And no, they don't want him to win. They'll do everything to have him lose. But who are they? He has to appeal. This is shocking.
Wow.
We may get taken off the air on this. Yeah. He has to appeal to the people, not the system.
Yeah.
The people want to change. Look at the facts. The people don't look at the Gallup polls. They look at Congress lower than used car salesmen, the politicians. They want to change. Oh, Biden, Trump. No. Look at the data. People don't want either of them.
Either or.
So it's not up. It's no. They don't want him, and they will try to stop him. But I said the people will want him.
Wow. Yeah, it's very concerning where things are headed. My concern is always about the next generation.
I'm concerned about this generation. I'm not concerned about the next. If this generation goes down, the hell with the next generation. I mean, it's right about now. It's now we have to change.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping we can. Something will happen eventually. So
hope is the most negative word in the metaphysical dictionary. It means wanting something to happen without doing anything to make it.
Anything about it. So
you got to do something, and you're doing it. You're doing it by doing what you're doing. You're getting the truth out there. You're fighting. You want freedom. You want peace. So you're doing it. It's not hope.
Indeed, Gerald. So, well, Gerald, if some of our viewers, we do have them around the world and so forth, where can they find you?
Trendsjournal.com, and on the internet, Celente, Celente. My real last name is Celentano, Celentano.
Yeah.
And Celentano, Adriano Celentano, was the Elvis Presley of Italy. So I don't know if we're related, but I got that vibe. They changed names when they came to America, so things happen. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, I will, as I mentioned, I will make, to our viewers, I'll make sure, guys, I will put the links for you in the description. And so I hope you enjoyed what Gerald has to share with you, because this knowledge, you are not going to get it anywhere else. So I'm sure we're going to be calling on Gerald once again. Hopefully he'll have time for us to come again. Gerald, I can't thank you enough. I truly appreciate you carving out time for us. It means a lot. And I look forward to next time.
And thank you for all that you're doing. I'm honored to be on your show.
Thank you so much. You take care.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. I hope you did enjoy this conversation with Gerald. So he speaks the truth. He's a straight shooter. That's just how some people are. And I used to live close to New York, and I kind of knew he's a New Yorker. So those guys, they don't sugarcoat things. And he's the way he's saying whatever he's saying is because of the care and the concern he has for our country. So yeah, I wish many people like him will come forward. And this is, again, what we do in our show here. That's the whole objective of it, because we want to increase knowledge. We want to make people aware, because we want to make a better world for us all. This is not just on one and so forth. So let me take this opportunity to say thank you to Osiris Great. Thank you so much for your super sticker. We truly appreciate it, as always. So, well, I hope, guys, you find it very informative, and we look forward to seeing you next time. By the way, if this is your first time here, please subscribe. Truly appreciate it. See you guys. As always, prepare yourself for changing world order. Till next time. Bye-bye.